Welcome to episode 210 of OTD, your daily dose of soccer history by a 17-laws guy. It's May 29, 1958, and today's story begins with a question that two dear friends of the pod, Nick in London and Rodrigo in Washington, have both asked me in different ways. Why do some clubs and national teams have stars above the crest? 1 star, 4 stars, sometimes dozens of stars. What do they mean? Who decides? And where did the tradition begin? The answer takes us to Italy, to Juventus, to a 10th national title, and to a decision by the Italian Football Federation that would quietly change the visual language of football. Because on this day in 1958, the FIGC approves a proposal linked to Juventus' 10th Italian championship. The wording is not yet the language of modern branding. Juventus are allowed to wear a particular distinction, a distintivo particolare, on their shirt, and Juventus choose a 5-pointed gold star. That is why the 1957-58 Juventus title becomes immortalized as the scudetto della prima stella, the first star scudetto. But how did we get here? In Italian football, the first great shirt symbol is not the star, it's the little shield, the scudetto. In Italian, scudetto literally means little shield, and in 1924, the Italian Football Federation approves the idea that the defending national champion should wear a small shield in the colors of the Italian flag, green, white, and red, on their shirt during the following season. Genoa becomes the first club to wear it in 1924-25, after winning the previous championship. Over time, the word changes meaning. The scudetto is no longer just the patch. It becomes the title itself. So to win the Italian championship is to win the scudetto. But Italy has also another sporting symbol moving through the culture, the star. On December 20, 1933, the Stella al Merito Sportivo, the star for sporting merit, is instituted as an honor associated with Italian sport. Its origins are in the fascist sporting system, but after the Second World War, the idea of national sporting merit doesn't disappear. It is reshaped, reabsorbed, and by the 1950s, especially when Rome preparing to host the 1960 Olympic Games, Italian sport is again thinking in symbols, medals, honors, national excellence, and public recognition. Then comes Juventus. At the start of the 1957-58 Serie A season, Juventus have won 9 Italian championships. So have Genoa. No club has reached 10. And Juventus are emerging from a dry period. The last league title was in 1952. Then come the men who transformed the attack. Giampiero Boniperti, the elegant Italian captain. Omar Sivori, the Argentine genius, abrasive, creative, impossible to ignore. And John Charles, the Welsh colossus, powerful enough to dominate the air and graceful enough to be loved in Turin as Il Gigante Buono, the gentle giant. Together, the three become the Trio Magico. And the season becomes a statement. By the 21st match day, Juventus are 5 points clear. Padova, Fiorentina, Napoli, and others can chase, but the lead doesn't really collapse. Juventus have goals, personality, and authority. And then, on May 4, 1958, Juventus draw 0-0 with Fiorentina. Not a glamorous scoreline, but it's enough. With 3 matches still to play, Juventus are champions of Italy for the 10th time, the first club to reach 10 scudetti. And Umberto Agnelli, Juventus' young president, sees that this milestone needs more than applause. He wants the shirt to show it. Not just a scudetto for being defending champions, something permanent, a marker of accumulated greatness. So the request goes forward, and on May 29, 1958, 4 days after the season ends, the federation approves the principle: any club that wins 10 Italian championships, or a multiple of 10, may wear a special distinction. Agnelli's choice is the gold star, 1 star for 10, 2 stars for 20, 3 for 30. And that choice turns the Juventus milestone into a football language. But so what? Juventus keep the star. It is not a one-season souvenir. The scudetto patch is temporary because it marks the defending champion. The star is different. The star is cumulative. It says this club has crossed a historical threshold. Juventus win again in 1959-60 and 60-61. But those are the 11th and 12th titles. The star stays 1. Then in 81-82, Juventus reached 20. The second star arrives. Inter became the second Italian club to earn a star after their 10th title in the 1960s. Milan reached 10 in 79. And today, the Italian code is still visible at a glance. Juventus with 3 stars, Inter with 2, and Milan with 1. But Italy also gives us the complications. In 2006, after Calciopoli, Juventus is stripped of the 2004-05 title, and the 2005-06 title is not assigned to them. That means a dispute opens between what Juventus counts as titles won on the pitch and what the FIGC recognizes officially. And when Juventus win the 2011-12 championship, the club presents it as number 30. Officially, it's not. So rather than wear a 3rd star, Juventus remove the stars and use the slogan 30 sul campo, or 30 on the pitch. Only after Juventus win their 30th officially recognized title in 2013-14 do they have the uncontested right to the 3rd star. Even then, Andrea Agnelli initially says Juventus will not wear the stars until another Italian club reaches 2, to emphasize the distance. But by 2015-16, with Adidas as kit manufacturer, the 3 stars are back. That's the point about stars. They look simple, but they are rarely simple. Different countries use different rules. Germany has a formal Bundesliga scale. 1 star for 3 Bundesliga titles, 2 for 5, 3 for 10, 4 for 20, and 5 for 30. Bayern München wears 5. But Bayern's 1932 German championship doesn't count for that purpose, because the system only, and I'm making air quotes here, counts Bundesliga titles from 1963. In Argentina, Boca Juniors take a different approach. Their Crest has become famous for its galaxy of stars, traditionally one for each major title. It is less clean, less regulated, but visually unforgettable. In Scotland, Rangers wear 5 stars for league title milestones. Celtic wear 1 star, not for domestic titles, but for the 1967 European Cup. And that brings us to national teams. At international level, the rule most fans recognize is 1 star for each World Cup. Brazil have 5, Germany and Italy have 4, Argentina have 3, France have 2, England and Spain have 1. But Uruguay are the great history lesson. Uruguay wear 4 stars, 1930 and 1950 for the FIFA World Cups, and 1924 and 28 for Olympic football gold medals. And I support those 4 stars. And why? Because before the World Cup existed, the Olympic football tournament was the closest thing football had to a world championship. And for 1924 and 28 specifically, FIFA's own historical record matters. FIFA agreed that if the Olympic football tournament was played according to FIFA regulations, it would be recognized as a World Football Championship. Uruguay won both. Then FIFA created its own World Cup, awarded the first one to Uruguay, and Uruguay won that too. Historians can still argue, and they do. What about 1908 and 12, when Britain's amateur sides won Olympic football tournaments? What about amateur rules? And what about FIFA's role before 1924? Those are fair questions. But Uruguay's case is strong because 1924 and 28 were organized in the specific transitional moment when FIFA was turning Olympic football into the foundation for a world championship. Uruguay were not retrofitting mythology. They were champions in the world championship format of their time. Then there are the confederation rules. UEFA, for example, does not simply let Champions League winners put stars wherever they want in its competitions. Remember just 4 days ago we talked about Liverpool keeping the trophy after their 5th win, the miracle in Istanbul in 2005, and that the rules changed. Now, in addition to replicas of the trophy, the Champions League has a multiple winner badge for clubs that win the European Cup or Champions League 5 times, or 3 times in a row. FIFA has also created the Champions Badge, a temporary badge for reigning world champions, including Club World Cup winners. So the star is not one rule, it is a family of rules. Domestic leagues use stars one way, national teams use them another way. Confederation may restrict them. Clubs may mythologize them. And fans read them instantly, because football shirts are not just clothing, they're history worn in public. That is why May 29, 1958 matters. A federation decision about a Juventus shirt becomes a global habit. A gold star over a crest becomes shorthand for achievement, hierarchy, argument, memory, and identity. Before we go, 3 things to take away from May 29, 1958. First, the star tradition begins with Juventus and the 10th Italian title, not with a World Cup team, not with a marketing department, but with the scudetto della prima stella. Second, stars work because they compress history, 10 titles, a World Cup, a continental dynasty, a whole argument reduced to one small symbol above a crest. Third, the symbol matters only if the merit behind it is clear. Stars should illuminate achievement, not confuse it. The best stars tell you exactly what had to be won. On this day, 1958, the Italian Football Federation approved Juventus' right to wear a special distinction after the club's 10th Italian championship. And when Juventus chose a 5-pointed gold star, the first star scudetto became the origin point for one of football's most familiar traditions. That is all for episode 210, your daily dose of soccer history by 17 Law Guy. Thank you again, Nick and Rodrigo, for inspiring me to tell this story. If you enjoyed this episode, please follow the show, leave a rating, and share it with a fellow football historian. If you, like Nick and Rodrigo, have ideas for the show, please email me at otd@17lawsguy.com. Tomorrow, we go to May 30, 1919, and the tragic story of Peñarol goalkeeper Roberto Chieri, who died from injuries sustained while making his Uruguay debut just 13 days earlier. See you then.